Data Science Unit 2, Part 2. Naive-Bayes classifier algorithm. It's a supervised learning classification algorithm. Key features of Naive-Bayes are the main idea behind the Naive-Bayes classifier is use Bayes theorem to classify data based on the probabilities of different classes given the features of the data. It is used mostly high dimensional text classification. The Naive-Bayes classifier is a simple probabilistic classifier and it has a very few number of parameters which are used to build a ML model that can predict at a faster speed than other classification algorithms. So, Naive-Bayes, because it assumes the presence of one feature does not affect other features. Bayes is a part of name refers to for the basis in Bayes theorem. Here, fit is denoted as yes and unfit is denoted no. Here is the data set for the sample data. K-means clustering algorithm, unsupervised learning clustering algorithm. This is understanding K-means clustering. K-means clustering is a technique used to organize data into groups based on their similarity. For example, online store uses K-means to group cluster based on purchase frequency and spending, creating segments like budget shoppers, frequent buyers, and big spenders for personalized marketing. This algorithm works firstly randomly picked some central points called centroid, and each data point is then assigned to the closest centroid forming a cluster. After all the points are assigned to the cluster, the centroids are updated by indexing average position of the points in each cluster. This process repeats until the centroids stop changing, forming clusters. Next, SVM, support vector machine, is a supervised learning classification algorithm, which is particularly well suited for classification tasks. The support vector machine terminologies are hyperplane, support vectors, margin, kernel, hard margin, soft margin, and things loss and dual problems. Hyperplane is a decision boundary separating different class in future space, represented by the equation Wx plus b equal to 0 in linear classification. Suppose vector the closest data points to the hyperplane, crucial for determining the hyperplane and margin in SVM. Margin is the distance between the hyperplane and the support vector. The SVM aims to maximize the margin for better classification performance. Kernel is a function that maps data to a higher dimensional space. And hard margin is a maximum margin hyperplane. And soft margin allows some misclassifications by introducing flag variables. And him is a loss function analyzing misclassified points or margin violations. Dual problem is involved solving a Lagrange multipliers associated with the support vectors. This support vector, the key idea behind the SVM algorithm is to find the hyperplane that best separates two classes by maximizing the margin between them. This margin is the distance from the hyperplane to the nearest data point, that is support vectors on each side. The hard margin is the one of the that maximizes the distance between the hyperplane and the nearest data points from both classes. Ensure the clear separation between the classes. So From the above figure, we choose L2 is the hard margin. Linear regression is a supervised learning algorithm. It's a regression model. Linear regression is the statistical method used to relationship between the dependent variable and one dependent and one independent variable. It provides a valuable insight for the prediction and data analysis. Linear regression is the most basic type of regression. Simple linear regression allows us to understand the relationship between two continuous variables. Logistic regression is a supervised learning method. It's basically used for a classification method. Logistic regression is a goal is to predict the probability that an instance belongs to the given class or not. Logistic regression is the statistical algorithm which analyze the relationship between the two data factors. The key points are logistic regression predicts the output of a categorical dependent variable. Therefore, the outcome must be a categorical or discrete value. It can either yes or no, 1 or 0, true or false, like this. Types of logistic regression is a binomial, multinomial, ordinal. Binomial means two possible types of dependent variable, and multinomial is more than three possible unordered types of dependent variable. Ordinal is a three or more ordered types of dependent variable. Sigmod is used in this method. Artificial neural network, that is the reinforcement learning is applied here. The term artificial neural network is derived from the biological neural network that develop the structure of human brain, similar to the human brain that has the neurons interconnected one another. Artificial neural networks also have neurons that are interconnected to one another in various layers of the network. These neurons are known as the nodes. Dendri's biological neural network represents the input in artificial neural network. Cell nucleus represents nodes, the synapse represents weight, and axon represents output. KNN, that is K nearest neighbor, supervised learning. This means requires the label data during training, where the algorithm learns to predict the class or value of new data points based on the label of the nearest neighbors in the training data. The K nearest neighbors algorithm is a non-parametric supervised learning classifier which uses proximity to make classification or prediction about the grouping of an individual data point. Deep learning is a subfield of machine learning. It utilizes the artificial neural network with multiple layers. Deep neural network, it analyzes learn from data. These networks, inspired by the human brain, are trained on large datasets to recognize complex patterns, make predictions, and perform tasks like image recognition, neural language processing, natural language processing, and speech recognition. Benefits of deep learning: improved accuracy, automation, scalability, adaptability. Feed-forward neural network. The feed-forward neural network was the first and simplest type of artificial neural network devised. So in this network, the information moves in only one direction forward from the input nodes through the hidden nodes, if any, and to the output nodes. There are no cycles or loops in this network. Applications of data for fraud and risk detection, healthcare, and fraud and health reduction is the application of data science, where the finance companies were predict the bad debits and losses every year. So they are using data science. Healthcare is a medical image analysis procedures such as detecting tumors, arteries, nurses, and organ deletion employ various different methods and framework like MapReduce to find optimal parameters to tasks like lung texture classification. It applies the machine learning method support vector machine, content-based medical image indexing, and wavelet analysis for solid texture classification. Genetic and genomics data science applications also enable an advanced level of treatment personalized through research and genetic and genomics. And then drug development is a discovery process is highly complicated and involve many disciplines. And virtual assistant and patients and customer support optimizing the clinical process builds upon the concept that for many cases it is not actually necessary for patients to visit doctors in person. The mobile application gave them more effective solutions. Recommendation system, Netflix and Amazon give movie and product recommendation based on what you like to watch, purchase, or browse on their platform. Thank you.